know things. Things they might not know that I know.
Somebody call the authorities. By 2014, Neil Patrick Harris had hosted 6 award shows, and was now going to host his own NBC variety show.
We'll have people in the audience that don't realize they're part of the show. We'll have a little version of me called Little NPH. We may have a thing called the supercomputer that'll go to malls around America. We end it with something called the End of the Show, which is a big variety performance piece.
That sounds like a lot, and it is.
It's best time ever with Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes, that is the voice of Reese Witherspoon. She's the celebrity guest announcer. Neil Patrick Harris then starts the show in the creepiest way possible.
One of my favorite things about the show is learning all about my audience. And I know things. Things they might not know that I know.
He's trying to say that his team gave him fun facts about some audience members. This, however, begins the journey of beloved actor Neil Patrick Harris doing his best serial killer impression.
Hello, 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 children.
Second best.
In a one-horse open sleigh.
Okay, he does it a lot, but it's extra weird here. Then, he pulls a couple from the audience on stage and asks them where they're staying.
At the plaza.
Which he already knows because he greeted them at their car.
Welcome to the plaza.
And then he reveals to them that he was in the mascot suit at a football game they attended, and then he asks them about their wedding.
I know you guys got married.
No.
I wasn't there.
Oh. Okay, good. That would have been cross.
No, I was there. Take a look.
Why is this what he's doing with his NBC show? Anyway, he gives them a trip to Jamaica, banters with Reese Witherspoon.
It's so romantic. I love antiquing.
No, it's Antigua.
And cuts to a commercial. He has a bit when they're coming back from break where he's pitching the audience on a timeshare program, which I think is very funny.
For 1 week a year, the condo is yours. And if you want to trade it for another week in another location, then you... Oh, hey, welcome back.
Then he introduces the next segment, Sing Along Live, where Gloria Gaynor sings I Will Survive, and audience members have to finish certain lyrics to win some money. The twist here, though, is that it's not members of the studio audience like you'd expect. It's people watching the show live from home who have had cameras hidden in their living room. There are 2 main problems with this. 1, I'm unsettled, and this is a show from 9 years ago. And 2, Skype in 2016 was okay, but not good enough to host a sing-along. The fact that they have to completely cut the music out for the viewer to sing along will never not be funny to me. But people sing, money is awarded, and the show moves on to Neil Versus, when Neil Patrick Harris and Reese Witherspoon compete on a flying obstacle course in the middle of New York City. I don't know how this got approved.
Is it a good time to tell you thank you for agreeing to be my first guest announcer?
The show claimed that neither of them knew this was the challenge, but then Reese Witherspoon says this.
You know me. Hey, let's do a little stunt.
So, I don't know. Either way, these 2 superstars have to climb a tower and zip line over the street. And they got American Ninja Warrior's Matt Eisman to narrate, which is neat. I used to love that show.
Lisa said challenge accepted. This means war.
I'm torn between being enthralled and concerned. Speaking of concerned, Neil is. This show is live, and they come back from commercial way before he's ready. Look at that expression. That's a face that says, I'm on NBC right now, and I don't have my jacket on yet. He gets it on though, and has a brief conversation with young NPH. I have no idea why he's here.
He'll be around.
Okay. Now it's time for the best segment in the show, where Tony-winning Broadway actor Neil Patrick Harris goes undercover at The Voice, another NBC show, of course. He does a wacky interview with the judges.
Adam, you are my favorite coach. Bleak, you are my favorite coach.
And then he has his very own blind audition. If you don't watch The Voice, while the contestants audition, the judges face away from the stage, so their thoughts are just based on the voice. If they like a performance, they push a button on their chairs to swing around and face the performer. But despite the fact that Neil Patrick Harris is a good singer, they have him sing intentionally poorly. He sings a song that I can't play, but I can show you that during this pre-taped segment, they show Neil Patrick Harris live being dissatisfied with his own performance. I think just so we know that he knows that it's not very good, so we know that he's still good. Maybe. At any rate, The show is winding down now, and it's time to give some prizes from the show's sponsors to one lucky audience member if they can answer some trivia questions about the news correctly.
Boeing's latest Dreamliner is painted like what Star Wars character? C-3PO or R2-D2?
R2-D2.
R2-D2 is correct.
This segment isn't boring, but it's pretty by the books. Luckily, the final segment is, not. The end of the show, as they call it, is 3 minutes of every random thing they could think of. Bartending, pogo stick, jumping, dancing, magic, marching bands, balancing tricks. It's honestly impressive how many unrelated things they managed to put in this segment. And to be fair, everyone is really talented. The show isn't bad. I actually enjoyed it. It's just so much. It feels unpredictable, but in a confusing way. Like they're not quite sure what they're doing. To be fair, the show eventually kind of settled into its format. Over the next 7 episodes, they transitioned away from the creepy Stalker stuff and more into people surprising loved ones with the magic of NBC money. I think the biggest problem that the show had, though, aside from maybe not being quite polished enough, was just that it was live.
You know, when it's live, if the audience loves a joke and laughs extra long, in my mind, I'm proud of that, but I'm also thinking, and now we're 30 seconds long.
Now, yes, Sing Along Live wouldn't have worked if the show wasn't live. But in a few episodes, Skype will go down, and they'll use a member of the studio audience instead. And it's just as good. But it being live was really why Neil Patrick Harris wanted to do the show in the first place.
Right now, television's in a very interesting place because there are 1,000 channels and they're not even on TV anymore. What brings you back to TV? And I think this show is the kind of show where you have to see it live.
He's got a good point. By 2016, TV, especially on networks like NBC, was quickly losing its grasp on entertainment. A live, high-energy variety show seems like the kind of thing to bring people back to it. But reviews were middling at best and harsh at worst, and the show was cancelled after 1 season. Some people thought that it didn't have enough variety for a variety show, leaning too much on the game show elements. Others thought the variety show format was dead entirely. It's here that I should mention that Best Time Ever is an adaptation of a British show called Ant and Dec's Saturday Night Takeaway. And by adaptation, I mean it's the exact same thing. A chaotic title sequence, our celebrity guest announcer, brief words from the host after entering from the back of the audience, crowd work that leads to someone being pulled on stage with some hidden camera stuff, some remote segments, a segment with the audience at home, a child version of the host, trivia, and the end of the show. It's even called the same thing. So why doesn't it work here? Well, Best Time Ever averaged 5 million viewers a night. Not great for NBC in 2015. Saturday Night Takeaway, meanwhile, averaged 4.9 million. Okay, but Best Time Ever only got a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, while Saturday Night Takeaway got a 6.1. The reason that Best Time Ever was cancelled after only 1 season is the same reason that Ant and Dec announced Saturday Night Takeaway, which has been running for 20 seasons, will finally come to an end this year. Television. Saturday Night Takeaway started in 2002, when TV looked completely different. And yes, Neil Patrick Harris is right. You need event television to get people's attention now. But variety shows are complicated to do that with. I can watch pretty much anything ever made at any time on YouTube now. So the draw of variety shows is the curated flow of connected segments. And with shows as frantic and unconnected as these, that flow doesn't exist. Which means that each segment needs to be truly amazing. Some are great, but others are only okay, which makes the show struggle to find an audience to watch the entire thing. I think people would watch the individual segments online, but NBC pulled their favorite move and wiped everything from the internet the moment the show went off the air. So that's not really possible. I think the worst part is that everyone on the show really enjoyed making it.
I've been very lucky recently in that I get to do things that I find interesting. This, for me, is that show. It was a no-brainer for me.
And that love comes through. When NBC saw the struggling numbers for the show, they thought about retooling it for a revamped season 2, before bailing. I really wish they hadn't, though, because I think the show could have worked, and Neil Patrick Harris is the perfect kind of host for it. But instead, we have 8 episodes of a flawed but fun show that Might not have been the best time ever, but was certainly a very good time.